Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Caitanya Caritāmrta class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuromritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Patigamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our Caitanya Charitāmrita audio class. We are discussing from Madhya lila. We are in chapter 8. The talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. So Ramananda Rai, when he meets Mahaprabhu and they go into ecstasy, embrace each other, start showing symptoms of ecstasy. But all the Brahmanas around Ramananda Rai and all the government officials around them, they were getting bewildered. So Mahaprabhu, he controlled his ecstasy. Vijatiya Lokadekhi Prabhu Kaila Samvaran. Then Ramananda Rai came in the evening to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they started discussing in seclusion very, very wonderful topics. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would ask question and Ramananda Rai would answer. Mahaprabhu asked 4 questions. First question was about the highest perfection of human life. What is the sadhya? Ramananda Rai started with Swadharma Acharan. Mahaprabhu said, no, it is external, bahya. Then Ramananda Rai said, Krishna Karmarpana, Yat Karoshi, Yadashnasi. Mahaprabhu rejected that also. Then Ramananda Rai said, Sarva Dharma Tyaga, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Mahaprabhu rejected that also. Then Ramananda Rai said, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Mahaprabhu rejected that also. Brahmana, he quoted a verse from Bhagavad Gita, last chapter, the 14th chapter, last verse, where it is described that Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma na shochati na kanshati. That is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Mahaprabhu said, no, it is external. Then Ramananda Rai said, Jnane Prayasamudapasya Jnana Shunya Bhakti. Mahaprabhu accepted, yes, ego hai, but speak more. Then Ramananda Rai started speaking about Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Then in the Raganuga Bhakti, he described Dasya, then Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Mahaprabhu said, Eho Uttam, aage kaho. Then Ramananda Rai described about the glorious position of Srimati Radharani, the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, Kanta Prem. And then so many things he described about Radha Krishna pastimes. Mahaprabhu asked the second question. Can you please describe the truth of Radha Krishna and their pastimes? Ramananda Rai described Radha Tattva, Krishna Tattva, the position of the gopis, and how Radharani and all the gopis, they serve Krishna, how Krishna feels happiness, how all the gopis feel happiness by serving Krishna. Mahaprabhu asked third question. Okay, you have described the highest sadhya. Can you tell me the sadhana, the process to attain that highest sadhya? Ramananda Rai then expressed his humility. He said, "Oh my Lord, whatever you are making me speak, I am speaking." He described the process of Raga Marga. And this Raga Marga, it is the only way to achieve Kanta Prem, the conjugal love for Radha and Krishna, not by any other means, because it is the property of the gopis. By serving in the footstep of gopis, one can achieve this highest sadhya. And then he described about the love of the gopis, which is free from any lust. Then, the last question Mahaprabhu asked about the greatest things. That's what we were discussing. This section from 242nd verse to 259 verse. So Mahaprabhu, he asked few questions. We had discussed till 250. Mahaprabhu asks, of all the different types of education, which is the most important? Ramananda Rai says, the knowledge of devotional service of Supreme Lord Krishna is the highest. That is the highest education one should get. Then Mahaprabhu asked, in the next verse he asked, of all the capitalists who possess greatest riches, which is the topmost? Ramananda Rai says, anybody who has love for Krishna, Radha and Krishna, that is the highest treasure. Prema Ratana Dhana. That's why there is a wonderful prayer, Dhana Mora Nityananda, Pati Mora Gaura Chandra, Prana Mora Yugala Kishora. So our wealth is Radha and Krishna, our wealth is Gaur Nitai's service. So that is the greatest wealth a devotee, a person can have in this world. Then Mahaprabhu asked, okay, of all the liberated beings, who is the topmost? Who is the topmost of all the liberated beings? Ramananda Rai said, Muktanam api siddhanam Narayan Parayana Sururlava Prashantatma Kotishwapi Mahamune. Of all the liberated beings, the devotee is the topmost. One who has developed love for Krishna, he is the topmost. Devotees are very, very rare. Srila Prabhupada would tell, don't underestimate the devotees who are around you. You may not know who is there sitting next to you. Currently, we may be seeing that this devotee has so many faults. That devotee is doing some wrong thing. But rest assured that just the fact that they have come to the process of bhakti, that means they are rare. Mahaprabhu asks, among all the songs, which song is considered to be actual religion of the living entity? Which is the actual religion? Ramananda Rai says, that song describing the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna, that is the topmost. The song describing Rasa Lila, that is the topmost song. Anugrahaya bhaktana manusham dehamashitaha bhajate tadrishi grida yashrutva tatparo bhavet. Just to show mercy to all the devotees, Krishna has appeared in the human form, manusham dehamashrita, and he is performing all these wonderful pastimes with the gopis. Anyone who, with a pure heart, hears this wonderful pastimes, he gets the highest destination. So the pastimes of Radha Krishna are topmost. They are worth singing. Actually, everything about the Lord is worth. There are many wonderful words. Shravaniya, worth hearing. Namaniya is worth offering obeisances. Smaraniya is worth remembering. Bhajaniya is worth to be glorified. Kirtaniya, his name is worth to be chanted. Spriganiya, he is the only one who should be desired. So everything about Krishna is worth. Ikshaniya, worth taking darshan. Darshaniya. Mahaprabhu asks, out of all the auspicious and beneficial activities, which is the topmost? Ramanandra replies, there is only one auspicious activity, that is associating with devotees of Krishna. Throughout Bhagavatam, throughout Caitanya Caritāmrta, the association of devotee is glorified to the topmost. Even when Krishna is there in front of the devotees, devotee asks association. Prabhupada quotes a verse from 11th canto. Ata atyantikam kshemam prichhamo bhavato anagha samsare asmin kshanardepi satsanga shevadirninam. Atyantikam kshemam. Kshema means welfare. Atyantikam, the greatest welfare of a living entity. What is that? Samsare asmin. In this sansar, in this world, shana ardha. Even if one gets the half moment of association of the devotee, he can be saved from the greatest danger. Sadhu sanga, sarva shastra kahe, lava matra sadhu sanga. Lava. Lava is a fraction of second. Lava matra sadhu sanga, sarva siddhi hoya. Chandanam shitalam loke, chandanaadapi chandrama, chandra chandanayor madhye, shitala sadhu sangati. In this world, chandan is very cooling. Chandanam shitalam loke. When you apply chandan, it is very cooling. In the summer, we apply chandan to the Lord. And Chandrama is very shital. The cooling rays of the moon, they are very, very soothing and pleasing to everyone. But even more cooling and soothing than Chandan and Chandrama is what? Chandra Chandana Yor Madhye Shitala Sadhu Sangati. Sadhu Sangati is more cooling and more soothing than anything of this world. When we hear such statements, we are thinking, well, I understand that devotee association is very wonderful, it is very much important, but Shitala, it is not so Shital. Sometimes devotee association is really unbearable. Because in devotee association, our ego is crushed sometimes. Why devotee association is called as Shitala Sadhu Sangati? Because this association can destroy the davanala of this material world. Samsara davanala lila loka. The entire world is burning in this material existence. The burning desires. Dushpurena analena cha. They're burning everyone. When we come in association of devotees, they can extinguish this burning fire of material desires. That's why it is called the Shitala Sadhu Sangati. 11th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is telling wonderful glories about the devotees of the Lord to Uddhav. It comes in 26th chapter, 4 verses, 31, 32, 33, 34. Very beautiful verses. Krishna is telling about the devotee association. What is the power of devotee? Yathopashrayamanasya bhagavantam vibhavasau shita bhayatamupyeti pumsa satsevatastatha sadhun sansevatastatha. So Krishna is saying, just as cold, fear, and darkness. Shita, Bhaya, and Tama. Cold, fear, and darkness can be removed by fire. One who has a fire besides him will not experience cold, will not be fearful of some unseen danger. All the darkness will be destroyed. Similarly, Sadhu samsevatas by serving the by serving the devotees of the Lord, one can also experience the relief from three things: dullness, fear, and ignorance. Shita, bhaya, and tama. Cold creates dullness. In the winter season, we feel so very dull, don't want to do anything, just sleep. Dullness. That is removed. And then fear of the material existence is removed. And the darkness of ignorance is removed from the heart. When a devotee comes in our life, then Krishna says, actually, devotees are the properly made boat in which we can cross this ocean of material world. In other place, Bhagavatam describes the lotus feet of the Lord are the wonderful boat. In this verse, Krishna is telling devotees are like the boat. Nimajjayon majjatam gore bhavabdhao paramayanam santa brahma vidashanta no dridheva sumajjatam. Nimajjayon majjatam gore. In this terrible material existence, material ocean, which is our ocean, bhavabdhao. What is Paramayana? What is the greatest boat? How to come out of this? Santaha, the devotees, they are Brahmavida, they are the knowers of truth, they are peaceful. They are like Naur Dridhe Iva Apsu Majjatam. Now means the boat. Dridha now, very strong boat. We cannot cross the ocean in a very small boat. We need a huge ship. In one place it is described, just like a dog also can swim, but if somebody thinks I'll catch the tail of the dog and I'll cross the ocean, Shoalangulena, he's a foolish person. You need a strong boat. Devotees are the strong boat. Now, Krishna says, just like brains give life to living entities, I am the shelter of those who are distressed in this world. Dharma is the wealth of a person who is leaving this world. Similarly, devotees are the only shelter to make one free from the fear of the material existence. Annam hi praninam prana artanam sharanam tvaham dharmo vittam nrinam pretya santorva vibhyatovaranam. Santaha, all the devotees of the Lord, they can take one out of that fear of the material world. Santo arva vibhyato aranam. This forest, very fearful forest. In Bhagavatam 5th canto, there is a whole chapter, forest of material existence. Very fearful. Shukdev Goswami very graphically describes various animals, various problems a person goes through in the forest. Devotees can give fearlessness. Shukdev Goswami tells another wonderful, Krishna tells another verse. Just like the sun can illuminate the darkness, devotees can illuminate, but sun cannot illuminate the darkness in the cave. Sun can illuminate the open spaces, but if there is a cave, deep cave, it will not be illuminated by the sun. But the devotees can illuminate the darkness within this cave-like heart. Guhashayaha. Santo dishanti chakshumshi bahirarka samuttitaha devata bandhava santaha santa eva hameva cha. Devotees are like devatas. Devotees are real well-wishers. Actually, devotees are myself. That's how Krishna gives so much respect to devotees. So it is not an ordinary thing to get association of devotees. One gets association after many, many lifetimes. That's why all the great devotees, they ask for association. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, what should all the living entities remember? Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Rai replies, the chief object of remembrance for each and every living entity is the Lord's holy name, qualities, and pastimes. Prabhupada quotes another verse from Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 36th verse, very famous verse. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan hari sarvatra sarvada shrotavya kirtitavyascha smartavyo bhagavanam. In the last chapter of the first canto, Parikshit Maharaj had asked few questions to Shukadeva Goswami. What is the duty of everyone in this world? And what is the duty of a person who is about to die? What one should chant, hear, and remember, and what one should not chant, not hear, and not remember. Shukadeva Goswami very clearly describes there is only one thing to be heard, chanted, and remembered. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan. O Rajan, with all your mind, with all your hearts, we should chant Shrotavyaha, hear, Kirtitavyaha, chant, Smartavyaha, remember what? Hari, chant the names of Lord Krishna, hear the names, remember the names, always, Hari Sarvatra Sarvada. Always you should chant, everywhere you should chant. It is not that some days you should chant, some days no. That's the only thing which is worth remembering. Smaraniya, it is worth remembering. Anything other than Krishna's name, form, pastimes, they degrade our consciousness. Only Krishna's thoughts, Krishna's name can elevate our consciousness. That's why it is all depends on smarana. Antakale chamam eva smarana. Krishna is not telling about smarana of any other thing of this world. Only Krishna. Mam eva smarana. So if we have to remember at the last time of the death, last moment of our life, we have to do it whole life. So constantly if we practice remembering, then we will remember at the time of death. Otherwise it is not so easy. So therefore, Lord's name, form, pastimes, they should be constantly remembered. That's why Kulakshekar Maharaj, he offers his beautiful prayer, oh my Lord, now my body is all fit. Let me die now, so that I can leave my body remembering your name, form, pastimes, remembering your lotus feet. Otherwise, at the time of death, when my throat is choked with cough and mind is completely bewildered, how will I remember you? Krishna tvadiya pada pankaj panjarantam adyeva me vishatu manasaraj humsaha prana prayana samaye kapavata pittai kantavarodhana vidhau smaranam kutaste. How will I remember you, my Lord? Smaranam kutaste. So that is the longing of a devotee, to always remember Krishna. Mahaprabhu asks, there are so many different types of meditations. Which is the best? Which type of meditation should everyone do? Ramananda Rai simplifies everything. Just meditate on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. That is the topmost meditation. No other meditation is required for a person living in Kali Yuga. Srila Prabhupada quotes another verse, first canto, second chapter, 14th verse. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan sattvatam patihi shrotavyaha kirtitapyascha dheya ujjascha nityada. Again, same things. Shrotavya, Kirtitavya, Dheya, Pujyasya. Dheya means one should be meditated on. There's only one meditation which is required, meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. That's why Bhagavatam is full of the description of the beautiful form of the Lord. Kapil Dev, he is describing to Mother Devahuti how a devotee should meditate on the form of the Lord, starting from the lotus feet. Lotus feet of the Lord has 19 symbols, and every symbol has a significance. It is not ordinary, and it is not just casually all these symbols are there on the lotus feet of the Lord. It is very, very important to understand why all these symbols are there on the lotus feet of the Lord, because they should be meditated on. Sanchintayet bhagavatas charanarvindam vajram kushadhvaj saroruhalanchanaatyam uttunga rakta vilasannaka chakravala jyotsna virahatamadharidayandhakaram. Sanchintayet, one should meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, Bhagavatas Charanarvindam. Why? The lotus feet of the Lord is marked with Vajra, Ankusha, Dhvaja, Saroruha. 4 symbols are given. There are 19. What happens when we meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord? Sanchintayet bhagavatas charanarvindam vajram kushadhvaja saroruhalanchanaatyam. Not only on the lotus feet, one should meditate on the toe nails of the Lord. What is so special about them? The red nails of the Lord, they emit a effulgence. Uttunga rakta vilasannaka chakravala. That effulgence can destroy the ignorance within the heart. Jyotsna virahata mahadaridayandhakaram. That effulgence can destroy the darkness of the heart of a devotee. So it is very, very important to meditate on the lotus feet. Yashaucha nisrita sarita pravarodakena tirthena murtyadikritena shiva shivo bhut. Lord Shiva, he puts the foot wash of the Lord on his head, that is Ganga, and he becomes all the more auspicious. Shiva Shivo Abhut. Therefore, when we meditate on the lotus feet, what happens? What we have done in last many, many lives, or maybe millions of lives, we have created a mountain of sins. And how can a mountain be destroyed? It requires thunderbolt to destroy a mountain. What is that thunderbolt? That thunderbolt is the lotus feet of the Lord. Yashaucha nisrita sarid pravarodakena tirthena murnyadikritena shiva shivo bhut dhyatur manah shamala shaila nisrishta vajram. Manah shamala shaila. There is mountain of anarthas which is there in the heart that can get destroyed, nisrishta, by the vajra of the lotus feet. Therefore, dhyaye chiram bhagavatas charanarvindam. Meditate on the lotus feet for a long time. Don't jump to the lotus face. Meditate on the lotus feet for a long time. That is very much needed. On the lotus feet of the Lord, there is a moon, crescent moon. That moon indicates the coolness. That lotus feet can give relief from the burning miseries of the material existence. That does not mean a devotee doesn't go through the problems of the world, because the devotee is so much focused on the service of the Lord. The miseries of the Lord don't trouble him. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama kathamuda Uruvanto Ramamanasya Navindan Bhavavedana. Nanda, Yashoda, and all the Brajavasis, they were completely absorbed in the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. They didn't even recognize that all these problems were coming. There is a water pot. Water pot indicates that here is a source of water to quench the thirst of love. We are trying to get the love and be satisfied, but none of the things and none of the people of the world can give satisfaction. Our thirst can never be satisfied by anything material because we are spiritual beings. But Lord is completely spiritual. He can satisfy. Rupam bhagavato yatan manah kantam shuchapam manah kantam shuchapaham. The form of the Lord, the feet of the Lord can pacify the mind. There is a triangle on the lotus feet also. The triangle indicates three important things in a life of a devotee: Bhagavan, Bhakta, and Bhakti. These three things are very important. We should always be in association of the Lord's devotees, and practice bhakti along with them in their presence. There is a bow also. It indicates protection. Protection primarily from Cupid. The Cupid is shooting arrows of desires, and only the lotus feet can protect, because the lotus feet of the Lord is called as the reservoir of all the desires. It can fulfill all the desires. Ichha Pidhanam, Lord's lotus feet is called as Ichha Pidhanam. It can fulfill all the desires. Nothing will remain to be fulfilled. There is an ether also, empty space. That means a devotee should understand that ether is also coming from Krishna. We should not pollute the ether by speaking anything other than Krishna. No prajalpa should be there. If we are speaking anything other than Krishna, our tongue becomes unchaste. Jihva asati. There is a cow hoof print, which indicates when we take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, entire material ocean, bhavabdhi, it shrinks to the size of the calf's hoof print or cow's hoof print. Param padam yat vipadam natesham samashritaye padapallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavambudirvatsa padam param padam 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 yat vipadam natesham samashrita. One who takes complete shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, for him this entire material ocean shrinks to the size of cow's hoof print, and you can easily cross. There's a fish also. Fish indicates how a devotee should be. As soon as the fish is out of the water, the fish feels intense desperation to be back in water. A devotee should always be desperate to be in association of devotees and be in association of Krishna Katha. Otherwise, a devotee is not interested in going anywhere. Even if it is Swarga. Nayatra Vaikunta Katha Sudha, na sadhavo bhagavata sadashraya, nayatra yadyesha makhama utsava, suresha lokopi navaisa shepyatam. Wherever there is no Vaikunta Katha going on, there is no Bhagavata Shraya, no association, no Makha Mahotsava, no festivals for glorifying the Lord, even if it is Swarga, I don't want to go there. Like a fish. Out of Krishna Katha, it is dead. Only the lotus feet of the Lord. There is a conchal also. Conch shell indicates auspiciousness. Shankha. Shankha means auspiciousness in the ether. The lotus feet of the Lord is the only auspicious thing in the life of a devotee. Apart from that, everything else is inauspicious. The place where there is no Krishna's pastimes, no names of the Lord is being sung, that place is inauspicious. Yaddinam durdinam manye megha channam na durdinam yaddinam Krishna sallapa katha piyusha varjitam. That day is not inauspicious when there is no sun. Generally, it is considered inauspicious when you can't see the sun. But that is not an inauspicious day. What is an inauspicious day? Yadinam Krishna Sanlapa Katha Piyusha Varjitam. When there is no Krishna Katha happening, that day is inauspicious. So that's how we have to understand the glories of auspicious lotus feet of the Lord. There is 9-pointed star on the lotus feet of the Lord. Sorry, 8-pointed star. That describes how a living entity, after wandering to all the 8 directions or 10 directions, when one takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, then one gets relief. There is a swastik that again indicates auspicious mark. There is umbrella. That umbrella indicates protection from all the rains of the miseries. So a devotee, he becomes free from all the material miseries. The miseries may also decrease, and the devotee may become more and more strong to tolerate those miseries, whatever may come. So that is umbrella. There is a wheel also. The wheel indicates cycle of birth and death. That means when one takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, one can escape this cycle of birth and death. This punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, this cycle of birth and death will be destroyed. There is a barley corn, which indicates prosperity in the life of a devotee. For a devotee, he lacks nothing. There is nothing which the devotee does not get in this world. Whatever is needed for a devotee to be prosperous, Krishna provides it. Either material wealth or a spiritual wealth. Whatever is needed for a devotee to go back home to the spiritual world, Krishna provides. Materially, spiritually, whatever. There is an elephant goad that shows our uncontrolled mind is like an elephant. That can be controlled only when one takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Otherwise, it's very difficult to control a mad elephant. The spiritual master gives us the stick of Mahamantra to control the mind. That stick is the only weapon which can control. Otherwise, it is impossible. There's a flag also. Flag indicates victory. In the life of a devotee, there is no defeat. Small apparent defeats, they don't matter. Madhyamanopi madbhakto vishayer ajitendriyaha prayah pragalbhaya bhaktya vishayer na abhibhuyate. Krishna is telling to Uddhav, my devotee is bound by anarthas. He cannot control his senses many times. Ajitendriya, but because he continues to practice intense bhakti, how many times he may fall, he again gets up with a firm determination to serve me again. He may lose some battles, but he will win the war. Victory is guaranteed. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti Dhruva Niti Matir Mama. There is a thunderbolt also on the lotus feet of the Lord. That means that thunderbolt can destroy the mountains of anarthas and the miseries from the life of devotee. There is a jumbo fruit. Jumbo fruit means all the sweetness will come in the life of a devotee. Krishna Katha, Krishna Bhakti Rasa, it is the sweetest of all the things. Because ultimately, a living entity, Jiva, is hankering for the rasa. That keeps one going. That is what makes one run everywhere. There are two types of uh, rasa, material pleasure and spiritual pleasure. So material pleasure, material rasa does not last. Chapala sukha and bhoga tyaga. But the spiritual rasa, that is everlasting. That gives ultimate sweetness. There is upward line on the lotus feet which indicates elevation, advancement. The more a devotee focuses on the lotus feet of the Lord, the more one advances. And 19th is a lotus flower. It indicates blooming of our consciousness. The more we meditate on the lotus feet, the more our consciousness evolves. So that's how the 19 symbols are on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Mahaprabhu asks, where should the living entity live, abandoning all the other places? Ramanand Rai says there is only one place worth staying, that is Brajabhumi, the place where Radha and Krishna has performed their wonderful pastimes. Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bhagavatam where Uddhavji, he is expressing his desire. I want to become a creeper in the dust of Vrindavan, because that is the only way I can get the dust of the gopis. If I go and directly ask them, they'll be embarrassed, they'll not give. There's only one place where I can get this, that is in Vrindavan as a creeper. Asamaho charanarenu jushamaham syam Vrindavane kimapi gulmalataushadhinam yadustyajam swajanamarya patham chahitva Bhejo mukunda padavim shrutimirikyameva. That is the desire of Uddhavji. There's only one place to be resided, that is Braja. That does not mean we should artificially try to go and stay there. One needs the blessings of devotees. Srila Prabhupada was very careful. Srila Prabhupada would always tell one should not spend more time in Vrindavan, because if one is not purified, they will commit offenses. No, just maximum 3, 4, or 5 days, Prabhupada would, and many devotees they tell. Because in our contaminated state, if we stay in a holy place and if we commit some offense, it will be more dangerous. Rupa Goswami has written a whole Ashtakam on Vrindavan, Vrindavan Ashtakam. In that, it beautifully describes, I don't want Vaikuntha. I don't want anywhere, any place in this world. I just want to stay in Vrindavan. Nayoga siddhirna mamastu moksho Vaikuntha loke pina parshadattvam Prema pina syaditi chetarantu Mamastu Vrindavana eva vasa. I don't want yoga siddhis. I don't want liberation. I don't want even Vaikuntha. What do you want then? Mamastu Vrindavana eva vasa. In this Vrindavan, you can see beautiful Yamuna river. In this Vrindavan, you can see all the wonderful Kalptaru Vriksha. In this Vrindavan, Lakshmi left everything and came, and here she is doing tapasya. But still she is not getting entrance in Vrindavan. Na prapyam Shri Rapisa Tapobhi Tatrollasan Manju Nikunja Punje Mastu Vrindavana Eva Vasa. So that's how Brajbhumi is the desirable place to stay. That's why Rupa Goswami describes of the 5 limbs of devotion, one of 5 most important, one of them is Dhamvas. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathuravasa, and Sri Murti Rashodhaya Sevan. So Mathuravasa is very important. Mahaprabhu asks, out of all the topics, one should listen, which is the best? Ramanand Rai says, the best topic to hear is the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Again, Prabhupada quotes a verse from 10th canto, Ras Panchadhyay, last verse, last of few verses, one of the last few verses, which describes the falashruti of hearing the wonderful Rasa Lila. Anyone who hears the wonderful pastimes between Radha and Krishna in right consciousness, will be free from all the lusty desires, and he will attain the supreme love for Radha Krishna. Vikriditam Vrajavadhu idam cha Vishnu Shraddhanvito Shunayat Varnayedyah Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Pratilabhya Kamam Ridro Gamashu Apahinoti Achirena Dhiraha Bhakti Haro Bhagavati Pratilabhya. One will attain pure love for Krishna, and Ridrogamashu, all the dirty things will be destroyed. Prabhupada writes, a liberated person who hears about the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna, he is not inclined to any lusty desires. That is the primary qualification to hear Rasa Lila. Otherwise, Prabhupada tells there was one mundane rogue. When the devotees would chant Radha Radha, he would remember a barber's wife whose name was Radha. So, you must have heard somewhere this story. So Prabhupada writes, unless one is liberated, one should not try to hear Radha Krishna pastimes. Although hearing the wonderful pastimes of Radha and Krishna, they are the highest perfection of ears. And it is described again and again in Bhagavatam, in Caitanya Caritāmrta. Kaviraj Goswami writes, you have got a human form of life, you are not hearing the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Why did you take birth? You should have died long back, because what you are doing, you are drinking poison and you are giving up nectar. Paya Manushya Janma Jena Shune Gauragun Hena Janma Tara Vyartha Hoila Paya Mritadhune Piye Vishwagartha Pani Janmi Ase Kene Nahi Maila. Why did you take birth? You should have died long back. A person who is not hearing the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the wonderful name, form, qualities, his ears are like the ears where they are like the holes where snakes live. All the nonsense things of the world, if a person keeps hearing, what is he doing? He is just spoiling his life. And gradually the snake of death will come and reside in that hole. Vilebatoru krama vikramanye na shinvati karna pute narasya. So that's how we have to learn and practice hearing repeatedly, again and again, to hear the pastimes of Krishna. Otherwise, our ears are like the holes of a broken conch. They are of no use. Krishnera madhuravani amritera tarangini yara karna nahi shravane kanakari chidrasam jani hase shravana tara janma hoila karani. Again, Kaviraj Goswami says, if you're not hearing the wonderful voice of Krishna in the form of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, which is full of nectar, Your ears are like the broken conch. It is useless. Mahaprabhu asks, among all the worshipable objects, which is the chief one? Ramananda Rai replies, there's only one which is the most worshipable object. That is the holy name of Radha and Krishna. The holy names of Radha and Krishna, they are the most worshipable. And Srila Prabhupada, in the purport, he quotes a verse from 6th canto of Bhagavatam, which describes the glorious position of the chanting of the names of the Lord. So this holy names of the Lord, they are the real treasure. They are the most worshipable object in this entire world. This verse is quoted by Yamaraj. Etavan eva lokesmin pumsam dharmam parasmritaha bhakti yogo bhagavati tannama grihanadipihi. Only by chanting the names of Lord, one can attain the highest perfection of love of God. Then, after hearing all these wonderful descriptions, Mahaprabhu asks next question. Mukti bhukti vanchaye kaha duharapati sthavara deha deva deha yache avasthiti. Mahaprabhu asks, a person who desires liberation and a person who performs fruitive activities, what is their destination? Ramananda Rai very clearly describes sthavara deha, anyone who worships impersonal Brahman, he will get the body like the trees. Because a tree is immovable, cannot do anything, cannot exhibit any movement. Similarly, in the Brahman, a living entity is practically inactive, cannot express the emotions, cannot do any activity. Therefore, it is like very low level of understanding, existence, and liberation. Sthavara Deha. In the third canto, Brahmaji is offering a prayer, and in that he is praying that, oh my Lord, anyone who rejects your form, Mayavadis, they actually go to hell. And even those who are Brahmavadis, they may enter Brahman, but what is that? It is a very low level of liberation because there is no activity. That is no better than tree life. There is no activity there. And what is the destination of karmis? Karmis, they may enter heaven, which is better than all these impersonalists. But what is the use of such elevation? Again, they'll come down. Shine Punya Martya Lokam Vishanti. Prabhupada quotes these verses from Bhagavad Gita 9.20 and 21. People, they do big yajna, go to heaven and enjoy Traividya Mama Somapa Bhutamatma Yajge Ishtva Swargatim Prarthayante Te Punyam Asadhya Surendra Lokam Ashnanti Divyan Divideva Bhogan. They do all the big yajna, go to heaven and enjoy a long life, but Etam Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam Shine Punye Martyalokam Vishanti. They again fall down. Again come back in this material world. So what is the use of all this? Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue from 258 verse. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Caitanya Caritāmrta ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.